The City of Angels is black and gold. You are listening to the Heart of LAFC Podcast. And now, Joseph Zacher.
What is up? Welcome to the Heart of LAFC Podcast. My name is Jerry Jimenez, your host, your friend, your insider into the Los Angeles Football Club. Welcome into episode 200 of the Heart of LAFC. You know I couldn't do this. And I wasn't allowed to do this if it wasn't for the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Joseph Zacher. Where are you at, sir?
I am here, my friend.
Welcome in, sir. How are you, man?
What's going on here, man? Hey, brother, I am so happy to have you on. This is super cool. Thank you for doing this. I know you're in the middle of Minnesota, right? Doing a business trip, and you're on the middle of the night doing your thing, man. But
Joe, listen up, man. Like, we started this podcast in Philadelphia together. I mean, I was doing this podcast for a little while, and then you came on and just completely owned it. And now I am in Minnesota, and you are in Los Angeles. So thank you for welcoming me in, man. Like, I just am so proud of the work that you have done. But it's not just on you or myself. It was never about us, right? So for episode 200, we wanted to make sure that we brought the crew together. And sir, we have done that.
We have. So we're going to call this kind of, all together now, because we are all going to come together for this episode. That is the plan. Those who could come on tonight, they're definitely coming on tonight. So everyone who's basically taken this show since Jerry and I jumped on, all right, and held it together with rubber bands, whatever else it took to get us through, they're the ones that we're going to see tonight. Minus two, that were critical to us, and that would be Fresco. He won't be able to come on tonight. We will get him on a future episode. Yeah, I mean, he's critical, so we'll definitely need to get him on. And then Caesar, of course, played a critical role, especially with some technical stuff that we did. So he's out kicking the ball around with Black Army tonight. So, of course, want to give our thanks to him as well for all that he put into this show.
Nice.
We miss you guys. Love you guys. We'll definitely see you soon again. And, of course, we'll all be in the North End together on Saturday anyway, so it's all good.
Woo! Let's go.
But, Jerry, how's life been treating you, man? Because I know you've been very busy with the San Diego side of football, which is super important. That's hometown. So what's going on with you, man?
Dude, it's been crazy. So today, for those of you that do not know, I'm celebrating my 36th birthday on the 200th episode of a podcast that I started 4+ years ago. So this is really, really exciting for me. It's been going great. And I wanted to welcome in everybody. I see Jose, I see Christian, I see Marvin coming in here. I see Victor, I see Mark, I see Al, all of the old people that have always been here and supporting Heart of LAFC. And I just wanted to show my support and tell you guys that I honestly never left. I've always been here. Joseph and I, honestly, Joseph is one of my favorite people in the entire universe. He's one of my best friends. And I'm just excited to be here, man. So, like, for me, I've been all right. I've been trying to do my thing in San Diego. Obviously, I think you guys know that we have our USL team, and it's been difficult to grow a supporter culture the way that we have here in LAFC. But at the end of the day, I think that it's part of the work that you need to put in, and we're going to talk about that, I'm sure, very soon, Joseph, because this is where we come in as supporters, right? Like, you support regardless of the score, regardless of the record that we have. And with LAFC right now, we need that positive attitude. So I'm here to give that positive attitude, even though we're going to talk about a few maybe negative things and going into a game that's very important on Saturday. Maybe very important might be like downplaying it a little bit. Right?
A big yeah. There's so much make or break stuff going on this weekend, guys. It's you all know, you feel the tension. All-Star game was a nice escape for a day from what we've all been battling. So we know it's a critical day for LAFC. for football in Los Angeles, for some people's jobs. Let's be real. This is the kind of match that defines a direction for a club. And what decisions they need to make and could force hands. So we'll get into it as we do our preview for the show. But yeah, we're all kind of in this tension-packed moment. So what else should we do but have a little bit of fun in the process? And of course, Jerry, happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
I didn't tell you that when you came on, and I'm sure everyone that will be jumping on tonight will probably be saying the same thing and completely embarrass you through the day. But this is a definitely wheels on the bus episode. We're going to be opening the doors, and those who can jump on will be jumping on and staying on, so we can all, of course, give our final thought of the day. That is the ultimate plan here: to have a good time, talk about what we need to talk about, get ready for the weekend and beyond, and of course, set this show to the next level and be ready for 201 even stronger than we've ever been before. So for all you guys that are here with us, I see the names, and we're going to talk to you guys as well and get your comments on, because we love your comments. Get ready, because this is going to be a good one. Okay. So in our history, like you mentioned, we started in Philadelphia as a team after the draft. During the draft, to be real, when Blackman decided to show up Darn Garber with that scarf and do our thing and take over that town like we always do. They should have known it was going to be crazy, because we took over the draft as well. It was going to be a little bit different.
Joseph, who's still around, by the way. And then we met Moutinho, who is now somewhere else. But at that time, we didn't know quite what LAFC was going to be. Right. And so at that time, we kind of had to rely on people that weren't necessarily too familiar with the club, that maybe like, hey, we want to be involved and we want to be a part of this. And one of those people is here with us today. And I have to say, kudos to this man, because he has ridden for us for free for a long time, Joe. But he is also one of those people that I think deserves a ton of praise, man. A ton.
And here he is, the one, the only Benjamin Virgen.
Man, what an introduction.
Dude, does he have like the best lighting you've ever seen for a stream? I gotta say, man, it's almost like a Dutch painting.
It's kind of creepy, actually.
Whatever works, but here I am, man. First of all, Jerry, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And Joseph, how are you?
You, my brother.
Happy 200th to Joseph.
200, thank you guys for bringing me on to this awesome podcast since the beginning. I remember just sending a message to Jerry on Twitter, like, hey, I'm really interested in writing for you guys. Do you guys have an opening? And you're like, yeah, man, just hop on board. I think you told me to send you like some kind of just a sample of what I have, and I sent you something, and you're like, yeah, hop on. And ever since then, I've been writing for you guys whenever I can, and it's been great. It's been really awesome, really, really fun, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity you gave me, Jerry, and you too, Joseph.
Dude, honestly, it's one of those things that Joseph and I always talked about, where this is not about us. This is about building a community, and you were a big part of it, and really putting it on, pen to paper, and really expressing it the way that we wanted to on audio. You did it on visual, and so it was very, very welcoming on our end. We were stoked, dude. Like Joseph and I were like, how the hell did we land Benjamin? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah, man,
no, it's absolutely true. Yeah, go Ben, fire away, brother.
Yeah, it was just really I get chills just thinking about, like, I still remember that day when I sent you that message, and ever since then I don't take it for granted, because it's something special to be able to be part of a family like this. And I always feel like we've been together the whole time. Even though we don't record every single episode together, I always feel like I'm part of the podcast. And every time I write an article, you guys say, great job, thank you for your work, and I feel really appreciated, and I really thank you guys for that.
Well, the one thing that's for certain, every time you do put an article down, and it's been in rough times. I mean, in the middle of COVID, he's going to games, shutdown matches for us, writing, getting that done, and basically keeping a dialogue moving when none of us could actually get together. So, Ben, your writing, what it did was it cemented things. It cemented ideas that we wanted to talk about on the show, that we did talk about on the show. It gave us more insight, and it was essential because there's some permanence to it. That lasts more than the audio does. The writing will be there. It's always on the website. It's not going away. We're not taking it out and archiving it. You look it up. Ben's writings are going to be there. As long as he's in the show doing it, he knows the door will always be open, and we'll always give him a hug coming in. That's for certain.
And I want to make sure that Andrew gets a proper shout out as well, because he was one of the OGs as well coming into this podcast, which I can't believe that you guys have created what you have. And I'm so proud of you guys because you keep it going. And part of building a culture is very much just sticking to it. Even when you don't know what's going to happen and what's going to come out of it, here you are. And Joseph, you have done such a great job of building this culture and bringing in new people. So, sir, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you. I don't want to take it over too much, but we have a few other people that have been adding to it, my friend.
We do. And they're going to be taking their cues as we go on into the episode, where they specialize, where they want to show off and feature what they do best. We got everybody in the right positions. We tinker more than Bob does, that's for certain.
I doubt it, but okay.
Okay, not this season. Not this season, right? Last season was predictable. This season, not so much. So basically, we're going to have everybody go on as the show progresses. That's the plan. So for this first part, we definitely got to talk about Vancouver, but we're not dwelling on it because there's so many other things we really need to talk about that y'all remember. And Vancouver already feels like a distant memory, a painful distant memory, but it really does feel distant with all the all-star madness going on. So we're going to jump into it now. I know, right into the show. Jerry, you're more than welcome to stay on. Throw your 2 cents into it as we get into this. Give us some perspective because you've known Bob from the beginning. You've known the cast of characters that run this side. So you have the insight just as much as I do to kind of add your 2 cents as we talk about things. So here we go. Vancouver. Match. Yeah, right. Exactly. So we go into this match. We know certain people aren't 100%. We know the lineup's going to be a little different, especially knowing that we have the Galaxy down the line. Well, we get into this using the 4-3-3. Yes, our classic 4-3-3. No shock there. Romero's in goal. I know we debated whether we were going to get another in there, but Romero got the spot. We had Kim, Murillo, Fall, and Farfan in the back. Under the circumstances with injuries, this kind of made sense. I think this is what we thought we might see, except maybe Blackman taking the role of Kim's job for, security, you could say, or even Murillo sitting out because of the yellow card accumulation fears. That didn't happen. This is what we went with. The three in the middle, Blessing, Atuesta, Cifuentes. Let's be honest, these are our go-tos. They're the ones we expect to see there. And up top, this was also interesting. It was B-Rod, Vela, and Rossi. I shouldn't say interesting because those are our DPs. Those are the guys you pay to be up there. Standard. So that was the lineup, right? So yes, we have the new guy, but basically we went back with the old crew to see what they could do under these circumstances. That being said, the mindset going in, of course, was a little cautious because we never play well on turf, and we've lost games before there. How did Vancouver treat it? Well, as they always do. They play the 4-3-3 just like we do, but of course it's more of a counter 4-3-3. Absorb, hit their chances, and do what they got to do. So that's really what we had to deal with. Is we know we're going to be taking the game to them, but we need to be cautious of what they can do on the counter. And that's basically the lead-in as to what happened in this match. Ben, take it away, sir. I wanted to give you a chance to highlight what went on in the first half, and we'll react after that.
Yeah, so starting with the first half. In the first 10 minutes of the game, Vancouver was all over LAFC. I mean, they were pressing them. They were forcing turnovers from our center backs, Murillo and Fall. Luckily for them, they were able to recover, in time to get the ball out of danger. But, in just those first 10 minutes, Vancouver had 5 corner kicks. And that just goes to show you, how much pressure they put into LAFC to start the game. And I believe the press, in addition to the field conditions, as you mentioned, the turf, it persuaded LAFC a little bit to play more long balls over the top with Murillo and Fall. But only a few of those were successful. I mean, for the most part, all those long balls just, went to nowhere. So that was interesting. In the 15th minute, the side we don't want to see, Carlos Vela, is forced off due to an injury. the right quad injury. Apparently, it's the one that's been lingering him since week 1 of MLS. So, he goes out, and now we know he's out for a few weeks, and he's replaced by Chicho Arango. So even up to, go ahead, Joseph.
No, go for it. Keep
okay.
going. You got it.
Yeah, and even before Vela went out, he didn't really do much in the game before he exited. So, that's what happened there. And I have a quick question for you guys. If Vela's quad injury was lingering, do you think it was why risk him on turf, before a big game against the Galaxy? I mean, if that was a problem, do you guys think it wasn't a serious injury? Or do you think it just happened during the game, or what do you guys think about that, real quick?
Jerry looks like he's ready to go. Let it fire, brother.
No, I'm not.
Oh, he's not. I'll throw it in. But
go for it. You go first.
All right. So my thought was it's a little bit of desperation, I think, on our side. We have to win in the moment. The next week isn't guaranteed. Take the 3 points you can get with the best talent that you have. I believe that's where it was at. Also, Vela did look like he was improving on the year and getting more healthy, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe not, right? So I think the thought was, well, he did okay in Atlanta. He's okay. Yeah. I think we can give him a shot. I personally, I mentioned on the last episode, was thinking that this would be the greatest game to not use him, to get him rested, since he had a busy All-Star week. At least we thought he was going to have a busy All-Star week. Mm-hmm. And so this would have been the great time to have him come off the bench if necessary.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. They started him. It was a risk. The guy that kind of threw me off more was Murillo getting the start because of the yellow card accumulation. Yeah, that to me was a little more strange. But Vela going into it, we thought was actually healthier than he was. Now that he's injured, the injury looks like it is pretty serious, and we're going to lose him for a while.
Yep.
And it's a repeat injury. That's the worst part. So basically, I think it's related to the knee and rehabbing the knee. Then the quad became an issue because of that. And so it's kind of things compounding on themselves in a player over 30.
I honestly feel like Vela has, had these injuries where honestly almost feels like he's ready to move on. Like I just don't see that 15-minute injury being something that was so huge that now he's out for so long. It just didn't feel that way. Now I'm not a professional trainer and I don't know where he was, but just because of his past, it doesn't feel real to me. And it just felt like, man, like this is Vela again finding an excuse to get out. However, luckily, I guess we have Arango, but at the same time, Carlos Vela has said some things now currently in media that worry me. And I think that's, looking back to it now with what he has said up to this point is very worrisome, and it's also making me question the validity of his injuries. So that's where I'm at. Ben, what do you think, man?
Yeah, because I don't know if you remember before when he got injured, he would actually be upset, like, no, don't take me out.
Yeah.
And now it's like the complete opposite. Okay, I'm done. Let's go. So
yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
Yep.
And then the timing couldn't be worse at All-Star break at the event where everybody's finally gets a vacation from the drama we've been dealing with. This is the time he chooses to drop that bomb. We're going to go into it later with the rest of the crew, but let's be real here. There's two things that come of it. One, he's over it, or two, he's trying to play to all of our heartstrings to turn on the team to get a better contract. Right? That could be also the move. That this is leverage, which I gotta be honest, with his production since after the Orlando tournament, right? He played one darn game, and then we lost him, and then got a little bit of brilliance from him in the winter, and then ever since then it's been off and on. He hasn't played like a DP. He hasn't produced like a DP. He's had moments, but it hasn't been consistent for a guy that you're paying the money that you're paying. So it's an interesting play to take leverage. Is I'm glass. You should pay me more.
Listen, though, 30 minutes later, and moving on from that a little bit more, Rossi did get a chance at a PK, right? And so, we move on, I feel like, and kind of try to, in our minds as supporters, say, hey, Okay, Vela's hurt. Now what do we do? And Vela gets a PK chance in the 45th minute. Now what do we do?
Right. So B-Rod earned it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He got stuck in. He earned that penalty. You got to give him credit for that. Being there counts for something. So that happens. Rossi makes the finish, which he hasn't always been a great on penalties, but he does make the finish. It's essential. We get back into it. We do look like the momentum is shifting. It's going to be ours for the day. The expected goals are flying. We'll talk about that towards the end, but the chances are there. And the chances are there for us to take a lead and take over in the second half, which brings us to the second half, of course, Ben. And then what happens when we think we have all the momentum?
Yeah, so kind of similar to the first half. Vancouver came out on fire with like more energy, more intensity in the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half. And, it kind of seemed like the LAFC like allowed Vancouver to take the initiative of the game. They just kind of sat back a little bit and played like the counter or the transition offense. That kind of seemed that way to me. And again, with the long balls over the top, and probably just because of the turf, they don't want to play the usual tiki-taka in the midfield because the ball doesn't roll the same way. So they probably just want to play the long balls in the over the top. So in the 59th, 60th minute, Farfan gets caught flat-footed on the left side. The ball gets played around him. By the time he sees the ball, it's too late. He reacts too late. The ball gets crossed into the box to Brian White, and then he bangs it off the crossbar. And it barely goes over the line, but it's enough for the goal. And LAFC's they've been struggling all season with crosses, with defending them, especially in transition. Murillo overall, he's pretty good in defending them when he's in good position. But when it comes to counter or transition and he's kind of flat-footed, he struggles a lot. So that happened in the first goal for Vancouver. But after that, LAFC responded pretty well. That Brian had a shot off the post a few minutes after that. That was pretty unlucky. That could have been a great response. It would have been 2-1 LAFC at that moment. Would have caused a huge shift in the match. But, unlucky for him and for LAFC, it didn't go in. And then go ahead. Yeah.
Keep going, because it seems like the story of the night, right?
Yeah, and then a few minutes after that, in the 66, Farfan gets subbed off for Edwards, who, in my opinion, didn't really make a positive, I guess, impact on the game.
Nope.
He kind of struggled a lot on the left-hand side. He lost a few balls in the midfield. He wasn't really, defending well. He was arguing with the opponent, arguing with the fans. It just felt like he wasn't in the game. His head wasn't in the game.
It felt like more of a wrestler, right?
Yeah,
throw out the bravado, but none of it's really substance, right? It's just show. We get the energy, man. We dig the energy, but we need the technical play. We need the brains behind it. We need the positioning behind it, and you always seem to be chasing it. And this has been happening multiple games. There's no shock to anybody. Of course, it's a precursor to what we always expect at the end, right, Ben?
Yeah. So in the 89th minute, just a few minutes left for the 1-1 tie. Edwards, there's a ball in the air. He's not able to clear the ball with his head. And then he gives way too much space, way too much time to the Vancouver player to get a cross off. And then Ryan Gold just heads it to the back of the net and beats Cisniega. Kim Un-Hwan was the closest player to him, but, he reacted way too late also. So it was just too late for them to do anything about that. So 2-1, 90 minutes. It's the same story. It's been happening way too often this season. And it's very frustrating to see that, we have so many scoring chances in the first half. We can't finish them early. And then this happens at the end. It's the same story.
Yeah, broken record. It's the FIFA cheat code. They'll say that. If anybody played old NHL games, you knew if I did this, go to this position every time I'm going to score. Well, if you go to LAFC, you pull up at the edge, right? Take the left back. He'll try to contain you rather than intercept. Lob it in.
Yep.
Give it your best. It happened 3 times now, where it was just egregious. I think Edwards is a part of every one of them, if I'm looking at that correctly. He owns it. He's over there. That's his job to cover it, to at least add pressure. I mean, if you give anybody in this league an open cross, like, you can't expect anything good to come of it.
Right.
The league's moved to a level where that's going to punish you. It doesn't matter what team you play. That will punish you if you give somebody that much time on the ball. And so we get punished yet again because our left backs aren't getting the job done this year. It's that simple. I don't know what Bob's going to do because all three of them haven't done what they needed to do when we put them there. They are not getting the job done. That's on the players. They have to own that. You can't tell me in training they're not covering this. They are the ones that let us down in that moment. It is what it is. I know talking about players isn't something I ever like to do, but there comes a time where you're professionals. You're paid to do a job. And if you keep making the same mistake over and over again, I'm not sure why you need minutes.
Yeah.
Simple. The other takeaway that I take from it, of course, is just a record of wastefulness in this match. You have opportunities. They're golden opportunities, and you just don't do it. In the match, Brian Rodriguez had his one moment, his chance to finally be a hero, clanks off the post. Once again, snake bit. We bring in Arango. He comes in. He did his best impression of a Rams kicker, or at least looking for a guy trying that job. Kept putting it over the net, trying a little too hard to get that perfect play rather than just getting it on. And when you do that, you tend to just miss. It just doesn't happen. So he's kind of overdoing it for himself, right? Overthinking it. Rosie, he's definitely overthinking it. You could see there's hesitation in his play. As hard as they work and as much as they produce, because this club did produce on the day, it just didn't cross the line because at the end of the day, the money didn't pay off. The money players didn't pay off for this one. And that's rough because you knew that the support players did the job. They really did. They produced. They were sending it in there. They were getting the openings. But the guys you pay the money to get the job done did not do it on the day. And it's rough, and it happens, right? This is the sport that we all love. It can be very cruel, and it was. So what's it going to take, right? Now, I will say this. The expected goals, now I found this out after the fact. This is the largest gap between expected goals and actual goals in MLS history for a match.
Jeez.
Wow.
I didn't realize that. I was actually told that by a member of the club that we had an expected goals this match of 3.12, and you had 1. And that was enough of a gap to be, well, that was good enough in this league. If you have over 3 in your expected goals, that's a lot, guys. This is football. That's a wild take. So, and it's happened now twice where we've had the largest gap since they've measured it. There was a record earlier in the season already from this season of just wasted chances. We're generating opportunities. That's not the situation. The situation is finishing on those and taking advantage of them in the moments when we get that chance. You need to be critical because every team that we seem to be playing, they only need 1, right?
Yep.
Their guys, they pay to do the 1 and get the 1. Our guys, we pay to do that, aren't. There's not much you can do when that happens. It's one of those rough situations that we're in that has to break. It just has to break. So I'll throw it back to you guys. What do you think is going to take you out of this kind of a funk? I'll start with you, Ben.
I mean, I think just the focus levels have to be better. You know, there's been too much leniency in key moments, especially in the final minutes of the game. You know, the lack of concentration, it has to stop. You know, there's this lack of urgency sometimes. You know, just players not getting to the ball quick enough, and it's so frustrating to see. You know, LAFC have to finish off games. You know, there's been too many games where they're up 1-0 or 2-1, and then they get tied up or they lose it in the final minutes. You know, that's got to stop. You know, there has to be something where Bob says, okay, you know, we have to lock it down and get this point or get this win, no matter what it takes. Put in an extra defender, extra midfielder, whatever it takes. You know, that's the coach's job. You know, you can't always win 3-0, 4-0. It has to be sometimes ugly. And, you know, I feel like that's what Bob is lacking in this season. Also, yeah, just tightening up on defense. Also for me, tightening up on defense, of course, finishing your chances and just staying focused the full 90 minutes. You know, it feels like LAFC sometimes can play a good 45, 60, 75 minutes. But, you know, those last 15, 10, 5 minutes, they lose focus, and that's where they lose their points. And, you know, that's got to stop. And to me, that's what it's going to take for this team to at least turn things around and hopefully get a playoff spot this season.
And the tough part is it the culture of the club at this point that these cast of characters aren't the ones that are going to get it together, right? There has to be changes, or do they have it in them? We're pretty deep into this. It's not like it's an early trend and we're getting used to things at the beginning of the season. No, we're running towards the tail end. We're switching to something else now. So it's tough. Jerry, your thought, do you think this is a leadership issue? Do you think it's a focus? Where do you sit on these things?
I 100% believe that it has to do with leadership in this squad. You see some movement, in and out of what, Bob Bradley believes to be leaders, but you just don't feel that coming into this. Like there's a leadership gap there that hasn't been filled. There is a certain need for somebody to step up and say, hey, let's go. Like, what the hell are we doing? And it starts from up top and it trickles down. I think it does have to do with a lot of leadership, not just within the starting 11, not just within the 18, but within the front office and within the coaching staff. I do believe that this falls very, very, hardly on the leadership at the top, which is going to be Bob Bradley and everybody underneath him. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure. I don't think I need to say that. I think we all feel that, and everybody on social media believes this as well. It comes down to getting the right people on the right seat of the bus. Joseph, we've talked about this before. I just don't feel that those pieces are where they need to be, and unfortunately, the front office people that are supposed to be making those moves, like Bob Bradley, are not finding that one piece that's putting it all together, and it's just devastating. That's where I see it.
You've always been one short, and why? Yep. Because you only have 2 functional DPs, right? That's your one short in MLS. If you don't have 3 functional DPs, forget it. You're not winning. It's not happening. Yep. You need 3 functional DPs to win, and we've never had that ever. So that comes down to everyone who makes the purchases, right? That the scouting wasn't right? You didn't get the right guy, didn't fit the system. Everyone has to own this. That's how it works, without a doubt. I also think if you're talking about leadership and you have a guy with an armband talking about going to Europe during the All-Star game, tells me he shouldn't be wearing the armband anymore. I'm sorry, but if you're talking leaving, bye, like, okay, cool, man. We love everything you've done. We love you.
Ugh.
But how do we expect this team to get gelling and working again when the guy that wears the armband is talking about heading off to a nicer climate? Dude, we're lost in the woods if our leaders are talking about leaving, and if your 3 biggest, highest paid players are all in the mindset of leaving, house gets cleaned. There's not a choice. Nobody has a choice at that point.
I'm with Marvin on this one. That was painful to watch, and you don't want to see that as a supporter. But here he is, like, speaking out loud, and that's fair. I mean, that's how he feels. But man, like, we don't need that right now. As supporters, that just like brings us down further than we need to be and want to be. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Joseph.
Yeah, we're there for sure. Key stats, I'm not going to bother with key stats because we already see what's happening out there. It's a waste to go over that. So I want to throw it back to you guys, the faithful. I see the comments. Comments are hard. They should be hard. We expect it. We love it. Be honest. This is a good thing, okay? So we're going to throw it out there, see a few things, have some fun with it. Of course, Jerry, make it a little happy before we get all crazy. I just want to throw up some things here. We got some congratulations from Oscar the Coyote. We've got some birthday wishes from Oscar's giving me a happy birthday.
Thank you.
Virgo love. I'm Virgo as well, so I guess that's something going on there.
Let's go.
Let's go. There it is. Hawks again. Happy birthday. He's all happy. Jerry Reynoso 110 is in the house. No way. You got it.
Hey, Jerry, I just really quickly, I want to remind you there's only one Jerry. Okay.
Ooh. There's only one Podfather. Let's be real.
Let's go. I'm just kidding. I love you, Jerry. I love you.
There's some love for Ben. Check it out from Marvin Chavez.
Thank you, Marvin.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ox.
Slim is on. He's got some fire. We're going to show that in a second. Thank you for coming on, Slim. Jason, so back into the football side of things. He says B-Rod didn't finish a goal opportunity, but played well overall. I was impressed. Great passing, creating scoring opportunities. Yeah, his movements were the best he's ever had. I've heard this from multiple sources within the club as well. This was probably his most complete performance he's had. Yeah. It's just the finish, right? The last perfect pass, the play to create a goal, the play to score a goal. It didn't happen for him, but if he keeps his head up and plays like that, it's going to produce. Yeah. I will say that. It will. He has to stick with that. Don't lose it.
I feel like that's the repeating, I don't know, the thing that we keep saying on this podcast. I keep hearing it on this podcast. It's, what matters until you actually put that ball in the back of the net? Nothing. Exactly. You have to put it back there, and it's just not happening. But I mean, B-Rod being positive is, it's a good thing.
It's a start.
It's a good thing. A start for sure.
More positivity than selfies, people. It goes a long way.
Yes.
Jonathan, my brother's on there, says he just did a shoulder-to-shoulder episode. Go check that out, people. He's from all of us. Congratulations. Brace of centuries. Yes, brace of centuries. Yes, it is. Thank you, my brother. And of course, happy birthday to the pod father himself.
Thank you.
Chavez. Oh, man. Marvin Chavez thinks Vela faked the injury.
Dude, so do I, Marvin.
Okay. From what I've heard, though, from the sources, that he's really hurt. He is hurt. He's on the wrong side of 30, folks, and I don't think he trains the way. It happens.
He moved to Los Angeles, and all of a sudden, he's a great actor.
Sorry. Right. Give him a card, people. Marvin says, sorry to be cynical. It's okay. This is cynical season. We have to be.
Fair.
Ox is saying Vela's over with LAFC.
Damn it.
Man, that hurts, but maybe.
Yeah.
Jason Lima says, reminds you of the first game of the season when he had a subbed out and Bob, like, damn, already? Right. Okay. Yeah. Marco Lopez, think people overacting to his comment about being open to returning to Europe. Sounded like generic contract not finalized talk. Big Man being too hopeful, but contract and playoff run. Yeah, I mean, honestly, a leader, a captain goes, I don't want to talk about contracts until we're done here. That tends to be what captains do in this world, right? I'm not talking about it. We're negotiating in the background. My agent's handling it. I'm not getting in on this conversation. He didn't do that. I think it's more of a leverage move than anything else. Oscar the Coyote does seem like Vela might just want to finish his chapter with LAFC and decide to leave. Yeah, he has the option. He has the option, that's for sure. He holds all the cards in this conversation. Ox says, but is he worth re-signing? And that is a real topic starter.
Not on DP.
No, right? As a DP. I got you. Ben, agree.
Agreed. Maybe, if he wants to Tam and Gam this.
Yeah.
Tam is the story, right? It's not Gam's Tam. We'll see what happens there. Ox, is he worth it? Again, should we re-sign him? He's a veteran striker who can produce for us. I mean, actually produce. Yeah, he's one of the few, right, that has. It's just, where are we now? That's where it's at. You don't pay people for what they've done. You pay for them what you think they're going to do, what you're projecting they're going to contribute to the side. That's how it works, guys. It's sports. Nostalgia doesn't belong in a contract negotiation. It doesn't. So we'll see where that takes it. Hooligan Ox says, I agree, Ben. Murillo doesn't get beat during certain plays, but he also has key moments where he saves us.
Yeah.
True. Mm-hmm. Some good ones. And apparently he can score on corner kicks from an Atuesta service. Why haven't we seen that at home? I have no idea. At least at home, yes, but for the wrong colors. There it is.
Dude, no, he had the same jersey. I mean, he had a black jersey on. I don't understand.
Yeah.
At gold, all of a sudden you forget how to play? Is that the thing? No, dude. Come on.
Right, it's so funny. Carlos C says the Edwards substitution was confusing at the time. I'm not that confused. I think it's been predictable at this stage. He likes to put him in. Has he done the job? No. Pee-wee buffering. Right. Marvin Chavez. Anyone else think Murillo is too overconfident with his composure passing? He keeps the ball too long until there's too much pressure and goes on to make a bad pass. No, he's Mr. Chill. That's for certain. He really is.
Yeah.
Carlos C. Same thing happened in Portland game where no one steps up to disrupt the pass. Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Slim's giving us 200 graduation as I fly through. Let me see what else we can throw there. Ooh, Araceli's on tonight. Hi, Araceli.
Hi.
Hey, Araceli.
Hope the travel
Hola.
was amazing for the All-Star game. She came all the way out here. Totally cool. Slim giving it to Ox. There we go. Let's go here. Okay, so this is another one that of course people are talking about. Marvin Chavez. I saw the post-game interview in Vanny, realized how a coach should speak. He immediately took ownership with the loss and the lack of defense, talking about defense being a team mentality. Yeah, they're in a different world, though. They're in the playoffs. We're not. So it's much easier to have composure, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fix it. Yeah, no, there was some ownership there. Pee-wee, clean house is the call. You're hearing it from Pee-wee. Key question, are they messing up on purpose? Because at times it looks like they are not trying. Are they tired of playing for Bob? To me, this is like the most inaccurate. I'm sorry, Ox, but these are professional athletes. 1. 2, they're young professional athletes that are on a lily pad situation. They're staying here for a bit. They're using it to get to better paychecks and somewhere else.
Yeah.
If you're tanking it, you're tanking your own career. Maybe Vela can afford to be like that, but the others can't.
Nope.
Especially the 2 trying to get contracts when we know they're trying to leave. It's been very obvious, so why would they do that? It hurts them. It's self-destructive. It just wouldn't make sense. And the young guys seem to believe in the Bob thing anyway, right? They're putting the work in, so I don't think it's on the young kids. Slim, all the other guys that bled for the Crest got traded already. So, yeah, I'm going to say it because nobody else will. Mark Anthony K, for as much as mistakes as he made out there, still bled for the Crest. He did. Now he's burning bridges like crazy on social media, but before then, dude, he was a locker room presence. Like, big time.
Zimmerman, though, also gets thrown in there. Come on.
Oh, Zim. Okay, so those who were at the All-Star game last night, I'm not sure you knew what happened. Well, those who were did. Zim came over after the game and decided to give us the shout out that he started, right? His tradition. This time he did MLS, but it actually turned out to MLSC because there are a lot of LAFC fans doing the LAFC. So I was like, well, maybe it's just Spanish. MLSC. It's what it came out to. But it was cool of him to do it. It shows the love he has, and I would sign him tomorrow if we could get him back. He still loves us, guys.
That was a tough loss, man. Let me tell you. Like, why is it that people leave LAFC and immediately start doing better? That's where my question starts, right? I mean, you saw yeah, absolutely. You saw it with Zimmerman. You saw it with Mark Anthony K. Like, what's going on there? But yeah, I agree with you, Joseph. The system is different. They can succeed in a different system. Yeah, and that's
used in a different capacity, trusted differently.
Yeah,
that's for sure. That's for sure. Hopkins, about playmaking. There's no playmaking happening. Can't tell me Atuesta's not tired, people. He never gets a rest.
Look at his face. He looks tired.
He looks tired. I think Rossi, Atuesta, and Vela aren't happy for whatever reason, lack of transfer, coach problems, etc. There's no leadership on the field, and Bob doesn't know how to fix this. Okay, so I will have to say it. I'm probably not supposed to say it, but I'm going to say it, okay? Rossi, we already know he wants out. That's been kind of obvious. Vela's now talking to the media, so we know where he's at. I will tell you with Atuesta, though, he was probably the most angry guy after the Vancouver game, and a lot of it is because he felt he let us down. You need to know that. He does believe in this team. He does believe in us. He fights for the 3250 too. I know this for a fact. He does believe, okay, because he's doing it for us. He has it in his heart. So I wouldn't call it on Atuesta. Trust me on this. The 2 guys that seem to be hurting the worst, at least after this, it was Blackman as well. He's drafted by us. Those guys are gonna fight to the death for you. Don't think otherwise. Those 2 I wouldn't ever question. The others, though, the big money boys, yeah, I think they've earned it at this point for sure. Heart of the team, yeah, they are. That's for sure. Everyone wants Bob out. Vela is faking injuries, crying out for an exit. Out, nothing new. Okay, moving. Sure, painful to watch. All right, so we're gonna move on forward to the next little bit. Last thing from Lemus, the squad doesn't want to play for Bob. Play for us, the supporters, this Saturday. We want this win bad. They should want to win this game. I will tell you this. They do, though. That's the funny part. Like they do. I think there's a perception that's not really there. There's certain players I think it is. There's more business side of things, but for the most part, they're in, guys. It's just snake bit. They're still producing. They're just not finishing. Yeah, it's tough. And yes, they leave and do better. And I've heard about this too, and we know this already that players get trusted differently in different clubs. Things fit them better as they get sold. That's for sure. It's a part of the progression for any of these guys. Again, we're Launchpad. We're definitely Launchpad for these guys. So there it is. All right. That being said, we're going to move on to the next side of things. Yes, out of the negativity, back into the fun stuff. That would mean, yes, you got it, community time. For this, we have two amazing contributors to the show that have always been there, fighting for the cause, came in when we were hurting, trying to get back up and running. First one, of course, I'm going to call in, of course, is Jason, the LAFC Punk. Jason, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Wonderful. Happy to be here. Happy birthday, Jerry. It's an honor to be on here. On my memories the other day, it came on that I've been doing this for a year on Heart of LAFC. I know Jerry and Joseph, remember, I used to call in like every week to you guys. And I remember Jerry's last episode, I like sarcastically joked, but I also meant, I remember you guys discussing, hey, we got to find some people. And I just put in the comments, hey, I'm available. And the following like week or two, I was on, and I've been on since when I'm available. Work permits. I got a new job. So my new job will let me be on Monday nights because the nights I work, I start work at 4 a.m. So getting up at 3 a.m. So yeah, if next week I will be asleep at this time. So hopefully, but hey, I'm so happy to be on here. It's an honor to be on this 200th episode. But yeah, it's wonderful to be here. So thank you guys.
My brother, I wanted to thank you personally for everything that you've done to keep it going. If it wasn't for guys like you pushing for it to come back, it might not have come back. Yep. I'll be dead honest. I have a lot on my plate, right? The guys know, Jerry knows. He goes, dude, he goes in the middle of the night on the show. Yeah, I have a lot on my plate, but I make it happen for you guys. And Jason was one of those guys that inspired me to continue to get it right. We weren't ready to go live like we're doing now, so we recorded it first. So a lot of our episodes are only audio, which is fine. You know, they were good. It was good for us to practice that way. To get better at what we do, to hear all the crazy mistakes. Like Jerry used to say, you need to listen to yourself because you do crazy things. I do crazy things. Yes, that is true.
Yes, you do.
And so we learn, we move, we get forward to it, and then we find new technology. And Jerry was help with that as well, brother. But Jason, you've been there. You've been there through the rough patches, the happy patches, and now all the way through to now. And yes, it's been a year since Jason has come on. So y'all need to give some love to Jason because he stuck it out for all that time, putting up with my madness. Thank you, brother.
No problem, man. And I got a special shirt on today. Anti-Carson Social Club.
Nice.
For this,
he's
for this
ready
Saturday.
For the preview.
I'm ready for the game. I want to thank a friend of mine, Mary. She hooked me up with some amazing tickets. I'll be in section 129. If you don't know that, those are some pretty wonderful seats. So thank you, Mary. I know she listens sometimes. She works a lot. She's a nurse, doctor. So thank you so much. I'm taking my dad. I will be at the tailgate, so definitely be tailgating, but won't be in the 3252. But being that I'm going with my dad really can't do 3252. But we'll have some nice seats. So come by and say hi. We'll definitely talk.
Dude, let's be honest. The 3252 has now taken over the bank whatsoever. Like, everybody is part of the North End, whether you're sitting there or not. That's the thing. So just real quick, Jason, dude, I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I think Joseph and I have talked about this before too, where if it wasn't for people like yourself and Benjamin and people like really giving their heart and soul into what we are doing and what we have accomplished, it wouldn't have happened. So just wanted to say kudos, man. And I'm stoked to be here with you, man. And actually you are a big part of this now with Joseph. So dude, just stoked. I'm doing my best impression of a audio board. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go Joseph, LAFC Punk, Ariano, let's go.
Hey,
right.
Appreciate that. That means a lot. So
Yeah, dude.
Let's get credit for something. We would not have a Vinyl Club minute if it wasn't for fun.
Let's
Wouldn't
go.
happen. It wouldn't happen. That's for certain. So the amazing connections that Jason has created with the social clubs that we have within the organization. He's always there, every tailgate. Everyone knows Jason. He's on every podcast, and jumping on and really you're the glue, man. You've been there from the start, keeping the communication up with everybody, and of course, always being the happy guy in the room. No doubt about that. More than me, I'm a grump. So all good. All
Look
good.
at
So
Jimmy's here. Jimmy's here. What's up, dude? He said, Jerry, ooh, whatever, bro. I love you,
dude, look at that.
Wow, bro.
The cutie's in the house, man.
Wow,
Hi,
bro. Wow.
I just had to throw that. Hey, love you, Jimmy.
I missed the wow button. I mean, that's one sound thing I missed.
That takes money.
We say it sometimes though. We do kind of throw it in there sometimes during the show. So
love it,
dude. I said something bizarre to Jimmy the other day, and he gave me a wow. I thought it was pretty hilarious. I earned it. I definitely earned it. So it still follows people. Of course, nice. Jason has been an amazing contributor, but there's also somebody else that really took us through some really rough times during quarantine, and she was, let's say, the engine during that time when we were doing double episodes each week, and she's jumping on doing twice a week like a crazy person like me, and we're hitting double episodes because there's a busy schedule. They're trying to get things done, and so we have to bring on Quinaldo.
What's up, guys?
How you doing,
dude?
Cheers.
Jerry, can I have a custom sound, like maybe some sirens or something?
I wish, and I don't
Putting
have a board. I'm in Minnesota. Why you got to do me like that? I don't have a board.
I don't have anything to do. Oh, okay. I see.
I mean, I can get you sounds later, but yeah, I feel like Christine does deserve a sound. Yo, you have added so much to this too, so yeah, we need Joseph. You need to work on that, dude. Come on, man.
Oh, it takes a budget, right? It takes a budget, and we are definitely duct tape and twine on this show. And if it isn't web-based, it isn't happening. That's been maybe we need to start selling things, right, guys? Come up with some scarf designs. Kidding. No, honestly, if you want to throw it out, that's good. But yeah, definitely a budget would be required for that. But guess what, guys? It's gonna happen. Just one day, you'll see. Maybe episode 300, it'll happen. But Christine. Dude, right? It never ends. It never ends. Christine, we are, again, beyond grateful for all that you've done for this show, helping us across, pushing me to keep getting better at this thing. And so we'll forever be grateful. I brought you guys on for the fun part, right? You guys get the fun part. We all get the complainer part. You get the fun stuff. So we're going to talk about club and community right now. And the escape that we all got yesterday, which was a much needed escape at the bank, to see somebody win and a lot of fun and apparently like WWF stuff going on outside. But Christine, give us a good all-star recap. What happened last night?
Well, I had so much fun and I was stone cold sober. So that's going to tell you something. But I mean, this was the inaugural kind of a match between Liga MX and MLS in terms of the all-stars from each league coming together to play each other. So this was the first of its kind. And I just think in terms of the energy and the production of the event, it was fantastic. From the music, the drummers outside, at some point when I went outside, I was actually trapped by a wall of the hot dog vendors. I could not get out because they're just I was forced to eat a hot dog. The street dog was good though. But I think just in terms of the genuine excitement that the fans had, it was true and it felt organic. So I thought it was a huge success. And I think a big part of that is there's just so much crossover in terms of fans who support a certain club, either in MLS or Liga MX, or they support a national team, or maybe, they come from a country, a player that they idolize, Colombia, Argentina, Uruguay. And, MLS is very diverse. So I was really happy to see, families who might be LAFC fans, but are also Mexico national team supporters. And I think that people were just really excited to see these elite athletes play against each other. And I thought it had everything, like the physicality of the players. I thought they were skillful, I thought they played hard, they were strong. And like the game had everything you want. There was a little bit of fighting. There was like this teaching moment where, you know, the chant that shall not be named, like shut down the game for a little while. And I thought that was that was a good moment for us to be like, we're not going to accept this. We moved on. And then there were like PKs. Like, what more could you ask for in a game? So
everything you could want and not want was there.
Exactly. There was like some small group fight that I saw. I was like trying to figure out what was going on, but I was like kind of like, yes, this is happening.
It wasn't that small, and it was out. Thankfully it moved outside. Right, they took it outside, and so we didn't have to worry about that for the rest of the game. I mean, there were some skirmishes, but they weren't the story. That's for certain. The story was definitely what was happening on the field, a little bit of off the field in the stands. Seeing the passion come out, the 32-52 were giving everybody an impression of what it's like to go to a Carson match for the first half, nice and quiet and gentle for everybody. And then before the half was over, just said, "Oh yeah, this is Los Angeles. This is how we do things." And then they took over, and were prompted. Like all it was funny, was we gave a Rossi chant, showing some love to Rossi, and then it kind of triggered everybody. And so we were getting it back, and it was like, well, I mean, if y'all want to dance, Northland knows how to dance. And so that was it, that was it. And so heroes like Jimmy and Casey and Chicolin in the middle just let it rip, and everybody organized, stood up, and that was that for the rest of the day. We decided to put on a show. Cassie heroes like Cassie running to the closet to get a drum in the middle of the game to make it happen. I mean, these are the heroes that need talking about, because that is what happened in the stands. And from that point forward, it was a show on the field. Dude, I love the intensity, because the Liga MX All-Stars, like, they came to win. There was no question. There was an edge. They came to win. Yes. I love that edge. That's what I wish LAFC had. I'm like, I could take 4 of these guys, and it would be a dream if they sign as a DP for us. I don't care if one of them's 36 years old, right? I don't care, because he plays like he's 25. Do it, right? Get it in there. Let's get some character. Let's get some meanness into the game. The other funny part was in the middle of the game, the Pepe situation, where apparently his cap affiliation was getting defined as he was playing, which I thought that was hilarious. And then he wins the game on a PK, and then we find out also that the U.S. kind of won as well. So, Christine, I know I'm kind of stealing some thunder from you here, but
yes. So, in case people haven't heard, it was reported, I believe, at halftime that Pepe had chosen the U.S. men's national team for the U.S. World Cup qualifiers over Mexico. And it's a big deal, because that's historically hasn't happened. U.S. men's national team has been pretty bad in the past with player recruitment and player retention, particularly Mexican players and other Latino talent have been overlooked, and they haven't been necessarily looking in the right places for the right kind of talent. And so a lot of that has to do with staff paying attention to that talent. And you can see Pepe was like, the staff, they called me, they talked to me, they made me feel like I was important, so I'm choosing the U.S. this time. Big deal. And of course, he scores the winning penalty that secures the win for the MLS.
Of course he does, right? You got to love how that works out. Every single time, the storyline just gets better and better and better. But that was awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Ben, you were at the game as well. I mean, what were your impressions of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the energy from the crowd. I didn't expect it to be that intense from the crowd. And I mean, of course, there was good quality on the field too, but it was a crowd that really got the energy going on the field as well. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a really nice experience to watch the game in person. And yeah, good for MLS, to get the win at the end, penalty kicks. I was kind of nervous for them, because after Nani missed that penalty kick, I was like, oh no, what happened? They got it.
Yeah, I kind of felt like he was going to miss it, to be honest, just seeing his run up and how long he took to take the PK.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that negativity. Take that back.
What do you mean? I'm saying that I could foresee that he was going to miss it. It's not. I mean, it already happened. It's not going to change anything. But
I still don't like the negativity. Take that back.
What do you, Gary? What are you talking about?
Hey, I'm talking about you being negative. Stop it.
Oh, are you a Nani fan? Is that why? You're like, don't say anything bad.
Listen. I appreciate that. I can appreciate it.
That was a bad PK.
It wasn't a great one. Yeah. Okay.
And there was another bad
That's
PK.
fair.
We don't have to talk about that on the MLS side because at the end of the day, Atuesta did assist our equalizer. He had a cross that Murillo finished. Colombian connection, LAFC connection. Also another, great storyline for playing at our home stadium. And then Murillo gave us a very memeable moment when he was doing that, side to side hip dance. So I think that's what we need we need some levity right now. We need some funness. We need, obviously, the feeling of winning. There was some other great moments in the game. Rossi comes out. He almost chips Memo Ochoa. That was a crazy, last-minute save by Jorge Sanchez. Andre Blake has a great save. He just snatches the ball from Jimenez. And then, Atuesta has that cross in the second half. Oh, Matt Turner. Can't forget about Matt Turner.
Oof.
Freaking blocks 2 PKs. I mean, if he's not, showing that he should be the starter for the U.S. men's national team with that, then I don't know what more he can do.
He's had a summer. A summer.
Quite a summer. Yeah.
Well, and in New England, the way he's playing over there, I mean, they're a contender with him in the net. So, the talent they have as well, right? It's good to see him, and if you follow his story, I know I was listening to it on XM. They were interviewing him where he came from and the struggles to get where he's at, stuck down the pecking order, and then finding an opportunity and getting it. I believe it's like PDL level. I mean, it's bizarre, but he did it, and he rose up, and he fought through and made it. So he's just this great underdog story. To have him do what he do is amazing. Talking about the Liga MX players again, I love their intensity on the day. 2 saves basically off the line. That's something that doesn't look normal in an All-Star game. Let's be real. The fun tackling in the mid, even from Atuesta. Again, things I just love to see in a match that's not supposed to mean anything, but definitely means a whole lot to everybody. It was beautiful. And then the crazy aircraft and the dog and pony show put on by MLS to give it that gravity. All good on the day. Jason, did you get a chance to watch the game too?
Yes, I was very entertained by the game. It was a fun game to watch. It was a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more competitive than previous All-Star games. Sometimes East-West, I mean, it's fun, but I don't like seeing 9-6. It just gets kind of more commercial, more, just, I don't know, not as exciting. And you could tell the players were having a good time, and it was nice to see them win. It was awesome to see our players have the goal and the assist for our only goal. So that was awesome to see. And it was a fun game. I've been to one All-Star game. Joseph might have been at this game. We're old enough to remember this. I remember when the Chivas, they go out of hard, came here and played the MLS All-Star. I remember that was a pretty chippy game. That was the only All-Star game I remember that it was pretty crazy. I remember being at that game, but MLS beat them 3-1, I think, from what I remember being at that game. But that
was a fun one.
Yeah. But
I also went to the one in San Diego, Jerry. Where I met McBride as a rookie. I got his autograph on my ticket. Still have that hiding somewhere around here.
That was a good one.
He was just a kid. He was a little embarrassed when I asked him for his autograph, which was super cool back then.
Well, there's also the one with Man U when Chicharito scored that one goal. That was a great match also.
Yeah.
And Man U embarrassed MLS too.
They did.
That made our league look bad. I remember watching that going, oh man. One other thing about the game, I really like the Liga MX jerseys. I thought those were some. I love that jersey. That was a sweet jersey. It reminded me of the old the 94-98 Mexican national team jersey with the Aztec kind of stuff on it. So kind of reminded me of that.
So Charlie makes like some of the best jerseys around for all of their club teams. Yeah, no, they really do. The Star Wars kits for TJ, those were really neat. But yeah, check it out. And now Charlie's really moving into, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but they're moving into the U.S. market, U.S.-based websites now. So you might see more Charlies showing up probably in the second division, I would think. It's taken off, and it should because they make quality stuff. So good on them. I dig the jersey a lot as well. Beyond the fun of the All-Star game, of course, there's other stuff going on. This game this weekend, I mean, let's be real. We got to talk about it. But before we do, let's talk about what we do before these games and what the community does. They have a lot of fun. I'm not going to dwell too much on club news. You know enough. So, Punk, give us some community updates. What's going on out there, man?
Yeah, well, tomorrow night, if you're able to go, Dodger Stadium, it's LAFC night. Tickets start at a package at $32.52, and you will get a LAFC shirt. I went the last one. This one doesn't seem to be as hyped up as it was before. I remember 2 years going. I think I bumped into Joseph there. Everybody was there. This one doesn't seem to be as pumped up as that. I don't even know if the Dodgers are doing pretty good, by the way. Except the Padres tonight. But tomorrow night, LAFC night, there'll probably be an LAFC player throwing out the first pitch, and LAFC players there. So that's going on tomorrow. I was trying to find community stuff going on. I think everybody's just kind of focused on the big game this weekend. Tailgates. I know pretty much every supporter group has already posted their tailgate information. And trust me, every supporter group, you guys, everybody is more than welcome to come eat with them. In fact, sometimes I know D9U is selling pupusas. I think I saw. I wrote that down. Empire Boys, we're gonna have tacos and we're gonna have a keg of beer from Rowdy's. So come on by, and we will be having that. Okay, I see Black Army's gonna have carne asada and a special guest and entertainer.
Yes. If you know, you know.
All right.
If you know, you know. But
all right,
the music will be good. Julio might have to come over and dance again, but it's gonna be fun. So don't miss that. The entertainment will be on point. And keep going. There's other stuff.
Yeah, I saw BYOB Cuevos. I think I saw theirs. There's also BYOB. But community, honestly, if you want to feel community, come out to the tailgate. Everybody is welcome. It's so much fun. I will be at the tailgate. I'm happy that this time we're having tacos. I'm bringing my dad. Last time I brought my dad, we had ceviche, and my dad hates fish. But I want to think back then when I took my dad, D9U hooked him up and fed my dad. So thank you, D9U. But yeah, so this Saturday's the game, and it's cool because we're actually playing a Carson game on a Saturday. Usually they always have like the Thursday night or Friday night game, but it's a Saturday game. So come on out to tailgating and eat, drink, have fun, be safe, be cool too. Let's represent our team in a right way. Let's not act foolish. Let's not act stupid. I know we love our team. We hate Carson, but don't take it to that level. Let's don't let if they take it to that level.
We're gonna make all Carson supporters do the crate challenge in order to get into the stadium. On all doors that are open, there's gonna be crates. Carson fans have to get through that.
Well, have you seen the promotion poster from Cuervos? Give credit to Cuervos on this one, because Cuervos' poster for the tailgate is the crate challenge with a Galaxy turd. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It looks like something Christian was involved with. Shout out, Christian.
Yes.
I love
if you see a Carson fan with a styrofoam ice chest, just leave them alone and just.
You don't need to bring Kevlar ones at this point. Just bring Kevlar ones. It's okay. Don't bring them at all. You're not welcome.
Damn, Jason, you're taking it way back, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people may remember that.
Yeah, that's like I think that was the first game. That was the first game at the bank with us. So.
Oh, the horror.
Oh, the memories, though. The horror, but the memories, Joseph. The memories.
Yeah, no, great memories. Great memories. Every one of these is always a great memory because we always win it in the stands and win it in the tailgates. The tailgate's gonna be just if you miss out on the tailgates, you're really missing out on this. And those who are going to the baseball game, it is only $32.52 with fees to go to the game. But I know others are going to be very busy the night before doing other important things and getting ready for the next day. Let's be honest, guys are going to be there at 7 a.m. So people got some work to do to be ready for 7 a.m. tailgates. I'm just telling you, prepare. So we'll be ready. Everybody will be ready, and we'll make that happen. Now, you also mentioned there was something else you mentioned, but I'll leave it at that. We'll get into other fun things and tradition. Of course, the other tradition that we always do during the community pod or moment is the BNG Vinyl Club Minute. So the Back Club Vinyl Club, Punk brought this to light for all of us, but tonight we're going to switch things up, throw an audible, and put her on spot. Christine, you have the honors this evening of giving us the Black and Cold Vinyl Club Minutes. So Jason, what is your vinyl album? Ooh.
I hope I do you justice, Jason. So I decided to choose the album Yellow Submarine by the Beatles. Came out in 1969. It was the soundtrack. Okay, you like it. That's good. It was the soundtrack to the animated movie, also called Yellow Submarine. And I actually saw this movie at the Hollywood Cemetery maybe like 2 years ago. I may or may have not been under the influence of some weird stuff, but the movie itself, it's one of the greatest pop culture art films, I would say, of the century. It's so weird, it's so funny, it's so of its time, and yet it's deeply philosophical and timeless in a way. It's a work of geniuses in a lot of ways. And in the movie, Ringo basically gets John, George, and Paul to go to the land of Pepperland, which has been like decimated by the meanies. And they go through all these trials and tribulations. And when they finally get there, they revive Pepperland with music and with song together. And on the way there, they also sing all together now. So that is my choice for a vinyl club, Black and Gold Vinyl Club. Jason.
Hey, it's cool. Hey, music's music. I mean, that's what's great about music. It's just everybody loves different music. Everybody has their different tastes. It speaks to everyone differently. For me, it helps me mentally. It helps me emotionally. It's such a wonderful thing. And whatever you like, it's cool. I mean, Beatles. I mean, that's a cool album, though. I mean, and going in detail about the movie, the meaning. The wrestling fan in me thought of the old blue meanie. So I think the only people that know who I'm talking about is Philly. Philly's probably the only one who knows who I'm talking about, the blue meanie. ECW legend, WWE legend. But his character was actually inspired by those meanies in the cartoon. So
that was so deep from Christine Kwan. I'm just going to say this right now. One, we're talking about revitalizing an island. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe like the bank against the blue meanies. Mm-hmm. That sounds interesting. Blue meanies. Wow, man. Yeah. And then we find out that Christine was on a magical mystery tour at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which is epic as well, because now we're adding in more Beatles connections. So I gotta say, Christine, you killed it. Yay. You hit a home run for those going to the Dodger game. That was epic. You know, good choice. I love the Beatles. Y'all know that already. Yellow Submarine is always going to be perfect. So all together now, name of the episode. You got us just dialed it all back in. So Christine, well done. That was good on job. Point.
Thank you.
I know. Anybody else have some community stuff they want to throw into the mix before we move on to what we're all really like chomping at the bit to talk about? Nope. Silence. Good. Here we go. Let's move it on forward. So before we can get into the preview, of course, there are two gentlemen that have come in clutch for the last couple months, getting us back on track, doing what we do, keeping the culture what it is. And of course, they're my Black Army brothers through and through from near and far. Let me welcome back, first of all, Tony. Welcome back, my brother. How are you doing tonight?
What's up, guys? Doing pretty well.
Welcome
So you
onto
got
the
the
bus.
All-Star
Where's your
game?
tokens? Where's your tokens? Yeah.
Yes,
The
I
All-Star
do.
game jersey? Okay.
Yep. It feels so nice, especially when it's hot. I can breathe in it a little bit.
And it's victorious. Yes.
Victorious. I love that.
So my brother, beyond happy to have you on. I know we shelved you for half the episode today. It just feels a little weird, but you're here now. This is important. We've got you back. And so you're going to be previewing the Galaxy potential takedown episode preview. But we can't do this alone. It can't just be us. We have one other man from far, far off on another island that needs to be revived. And that is, of course, Bam. Brendan, how you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Are you still in quarantine in the middle of a sub deep in the ocean?
Yep, another quarantine day.
Oh my gosh. At this point, we just have to do a shout out to the Brady Bunch part of this episode. Just got to say it. Go, Jerry.
Yo, I just wanted to say real quick, Bam still owes me some Tim Tams. He said he was going to bring me some stuff, and then every time that he gets to me, it's too late. So everybody has already eaten those damn things by the time he gets to me in San Diego. So I want to put you on the spot, bro. How about you come down here first? Yeah, I know. Thanks. No, there you go. Thank you, Christine.
Yeah,
Love you,
when
dude.
I can finally come over, we are coming back to San Diego. I mean,
Let's go.
We do enjoy National City a little bit.
Yeah,
Who's
there you
not
go.
From who eats all the pies? Who ate all the Tim Tams? It's great.
Who ate all the Tim Tams?
Me, Jimmy. I see you out there. Half the Black Army. Tony, he's had some Tim Tams. Yeah, if you guys just got to know when Brendan's in town, the Tim Tams are happening, and it's
And
all
Minties
good
now.
things. Dude, my daughter loves your contribution.
It's that guy right there.
Them to me.
It's that guy. It's
The
Tony.
Minties are epic, I must say. Now I'm buying Minties to supplement the addiction. So all good on Bam, right? Import those bad boys. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So, brothers, I'm happy to have you both on because you're the guys that always provide us with a little bit of clarity as we get into previews, especially the ones like this one. There it is. Did you see that? She's got the cookies. The images are there. So we're going to get into Carson now. I know. And talk about where they're at, where they're going. Of course, the run of form going for this. Tony, I think you're ready for this. You ready for this?
Oh,
How the heck are these guys doing? What are they doing so far this season?
So far this season, they are started off really hot. Let's just be honest. They've been doing well. They're 11, 2, and 8 at the moment. But they last 5 games, they are 2, 1, and 2. And they're on a 2-game losing streak. They're kind of lost is the best way to say it because they're both at home. So we're not getting them on a high, so that's a positive on a note. But again, it's us, so you know how it goes with derby games. That team could be just snap back into mid-season form altogether. Yeah. So overall, like pretty much the good, the bad, the ugly. Defense is suspect at the moment. The midfield is dangerous, and I say that because we are very weak on crosses, set pieces, and that's where they've been scoring most of their goals. First off, and then second off, their offense isn't doing so hot. They are getting lucky though. If you watch the last goals that they've all scored in the last 2 games, they have been a bounce, a weird shot, something, but they are not in. They're not in the way they started off the season. But again, you can just literally throw that all to the side and really play us. So who knows?
Yeah, they've been very fortunate in their results, and of course, they've had a different cast of characters as in the lead up to this that they don't quite have now. That has to definitely be said. But yeah, they've gotten away with a lot where they've been dominated and still get a result. It happens. We did that to them and gave one up, so we know where they're at. And we know that we've always outplayed them. It just hasn't gone our way in many cases. So here we are again, 11, 2, and 8. It's not the greatest record. And to be honest, the last 5 really shows where they're at. They're 2, 1, and 2. So they're splitting their results at this point. They didn't even have ties until very recently. So they're in a little bit of a funk, that's for sure. And we're definitely in a funk. So you have two teams in the wrong direction, have to face each other, and all to play for, right? The rivalry is upon us. So, Bam, how did they do last match? Let's get a breakdown as of what we're expecting from these guys. What did they do last game?
Last match, they played the Quakes and had a 2-1 loss, which was good to see. A couple of the highlights from the game was Cabral getting a yellow card in the 23rd minute for Galaxy. In the 52nd minute, Ibabasi scores the goal for the Quakes. Was an okay goal, which is nothing special about it. 65th minute, Varquez equalizes for Carson from the corner. The keeper couldn't catch a cold if he tried. Shot in from the corner, straight into the goal. Didn't touch anyone else except for the keeper. Came off the keeper's leg, in for a goal. Like, what was he doing? 69th minute, Dos Santos cops a yellow card. 71st minute, former LFC loanee, now Carson loanee, Nico Himalayan scores an own goal for the Quakes. So that's where the two goals came from. Couple of stats
it's nice
in the game.
To see them suffer. Yes, go for it.
Yeah. It was nice. It was good seeing a former LFC player score against them for them. Possession, Galaxy are up 54-46. Shots and goals are up 18-17. Out of those 18 goals, 4 were on target and 10 were 18 shots. 4 were on target and 10 were from inside the box. Passing accuracy was fairly even, about 85% each. Crosses, they're up 14-13. Fouls, they had 10 fouls with 2 yellows, and expected goals were 0.98 for Galaxy and 2.54 for the Quakes. They ended up doing 4 subs for the game, 3 at the 60th minute, which was Grancer, Varquez, and Dos Santos on, and 1 in the 89th minute for Williams on. The only player that they had out, we obviously know who that was, Hernandez, who will be out for this game as well coming up.
Interesting. And yeah, he's going to be out for a little while. So once again, Vela and Chicharito find a way to prevent a way to play each other. It just doesn't seem like it's ever going to happen. And now with the rumors, maybe it never will. Who knows? So they're in an interesting little crossroads, just like us. Now, Tony, what would you consider the good, the bad, and the ugly for Carson?
I don't know, because it's like weird to say the good could be bad for us, or the ugly could be. It's like a weird kind of thing, because usually when we go to this, it's like, oh, the good is this thing and the bad is this thing. But when it comes to Carson, it's like their bad is our good, and vice versa.
Right.
But like I said, it's literally the defense is suspect, 100% suspect. They can't seem to literally, which is good for us because we can get those little if you watch the last game at San Jose, any little passes that got through, it was open field. It wasn't even maybe one pass that was like a thread the needle pass, but that's about it. Everything else was up to par. The midfield is dangerous. Again, for some reason their midfield is actually very dangerous against ours, and they can distribute the ball really well. But after that, everything else is up in the air for them. That's everything. Yeah. And again, we don't have Chicharito to deal with as well. But as everyone knew, which I don't understand why people forgot, because we had this same situation with Zlatan when he was around, was he didn't want to play the MLS All-Star game, so he had to miss the next game. So it was everyone all over was surprised that, what, this is a rule? How did I never heard of this? Well, it's happened before. So
it's real. Yeah, it's definitely real. So the good, the bad, you're right on the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'll mention what you got to see from them or where it's at. Their potential 11 is a little interesting because they've been shifting as they struggle between a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-3-3 system. And you're like, 4-3-3, don't worry, guys. I don't think that's what you're going to see against us. They do that to teams that they think they're going to dominate or run possession on. The teams, though, that are a little more deep, they tend to prefer the 4-2-3-1. And in many cases against us, it's shifted to 4-1-4-1. It has. I just don't think that's maybe where you're going to see. But What did we see? What's a similar lineup, or what was the latest 4-2-3-1 setup? Basically, Julian Bond has been in goal for them. I know Klinsmann gets his moments, but Julian Bond is supposed to be their starter, so that's probably who we're gonna see in goal for this one. Left back, Nico Hamalainen. Yes, familiar face, not that familiar, and maybe he's a double agent. Center back, Nick Dupuis and Sega Koulibaly. Derek Williams might shift in for Nick Dupuis in this game. That's something that we do see. Sega. Or Sega, right? If you're a Sonic fan. So
old school. Yeah.
Dude, old school. Sorry, had to go there. Showing my age. What can I say? So Nick Dupuis and Derek Williams, I think those are your interchangeables, but Sega will probably be staying in. And then Julian Araujo is at right back. I don't think there's going to be a shock if he's still there, right? I think he's kind of owning that spot at this point. Defensive mids in their setup are usually Sebastian Lletget and Ryan Raveloson from Madagascar. Yeah, right from Madagascar. That's fascinating. Those who you might expect, but also Kleshin gets time in the defensive role as well. So we'll see who gets the start there, but I gotta say that Lletget and Raveloson are probably the guys that'll get that role. Left mid be Kevin Cabral. Central mid, this is where you might see Kleshin instead of playing in the defensive role, sitting more in the middle. But Alvarez gets that role as well at times. So there's your differences there. Right mid is Efren Alvarez, but there's a good chance it could be Grand Sir for this one. So you can see they do have a lot of options when you look in the midfield situation. As you can tell, they can really roll things around on you and not be completely predictable. And then their center forward the last few matches has been their new signing, the Serbian Dejan Jovilic, I guess you would say. Jovilic. And he hasn't really been producing as they expected yet. But I know his pedigree tells me that we will have a little bit of a battle with him this week. So you can't write the man off. Now, interesting thing is, like I said, the options off the bench, they're actually stronger than they've probably been in a very, very, very long time because they do have depth on this team. One, you have Victor Vasquez, central attacking mid. Like I said, Kleshin could get in that role. It could be Vasquez, right? So you don't know who it could be. I'm thinking if Vasquez is healthy, that might be a strong option for them. And then, of course, Jonah Dos Santos, still around. Yes. Has always been problems for us when he plays in a defensive mid role. So there's an option there. Grand Sir, like I mentioned, right wing, right mid option is there. Derek Williams, like I said, sometimes starts, sometimes not. You could just switch out with Dupuis. Jonathan Klinsmann's got his play time as well, and he had one game that he stole this year, so you never know. Right back, you have O'Neal Fisher, who is an option. Left back, you have Jorge Villafania, who I guess was supposed to come in as a solution. Now he's not anymore, and they brought somebody else in, so they're kind of doubling down in that role. And then you have a little farther down the line, Adam Saldana, and then Ethan Zubak as his option as striker. So for the first time in a long time, the Galaxy do have depth and options. They can really swing things around in us and be really unpredictable, especially in the midfield situation. So we do have some things to deal with. It's not as predictable as it used to be. Fair bet on that one. What can you expect from that lineup? Probably what we saw earlier in the year, right? They're going to try to cancel out the creativity of our side and dictate things physically. That's a rivalry. So that's what I see in this. Now, Bam, who is really missing from this match?
The only real missing one is we all know who it is. It's going to be Chicharito. He's
right.
The big player. He's the main one that's going to be out. That's really about it.
So they're pretty much full strength minus the guy that's been scoring a lot of goals from them, which hurts. But then, of course, they bring in this Serbian player that's supposed to be a new young hot shot on a young like DP kind of contract. So, yeah, that new rule's being used by them. So we'll see what happens now. Now, Christine, do you have any thoughts about who we might actually see against us in this match? Who do you think's stronger or better for this option?
Just in general, or for the striker position?
For striker, and then of course for wherever you think that the strengths will be, or where they're looking to make adjustments.
Yeah, I think like you said, they're going with the Serbian for now. I think they want to give him some more minutes, and also help him, just get used to the team so that supposedly he's good, so he should be able to produce for them. I think Efrain Alvarez will probably get the start, like you said. I think he had a really good game last game, even though they lost. If anyone had a bad game, was probably on the other side with Kevin Cabral. And like somebody mentioned, he did get that yellow card. And so I see there's like a lot of holes with some pockets of strength there in terms of their sides. But I think Araujo, we see him get beat last game and in the past too, where he can just get dusted because he's flat-footed and he's not the fastest defender. So I think speed in terms of him defending is his sort of kryptonite. And just in general, I feel like the defense, and this is something that Greg Vanney's going to like really focus with them on this week, is their positional play defensively. Because a lot of times you'll see 2-3 defenders go defend one player, leave a giant gap in the middle, and that's how they get scored on.
Yeah, I mean, they are going to definitely. Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think we're going to see a team that's not going to put themselves out there for the potential for a tough counter. I think they're going to just pick their pieces as they go.
Yeah.
That's how they match up with us, because they know that on our end we tend to get a little over aggressive and press a little too high at times and get caught up on odd man plays. Yeah. And the talent they have now, that's going to be deadly. So,
right.
Yeah, for sure. Tony, impressions, sir. What are you expecting to see from those guys on the day?
Just to go for our throats like usual. Like, they don't like us, we don't like them. It's again a derby. Everyone shows up for it. If you don't, you lose your job, you lose your starting spot, playing time, whatever. This is a time to prove for us, them, anyone, just, do you belong on this team? Where are you going forward and stuff like that? Because if you don't show up for this game, then why are you on our team in general for both sides? You know what I mean? Because
right,
it doesn't matter what team you're on in the world. If you play your rivals and don't show up, you may not get any minutes. You may not get what you want for contracts, for transfers, for anything. You know what I mean? Because everyone's going to look at it and be like, why do I want this?
Agreed. And, they talk about the world stage for the All-Star game. No. This is the one the world watches. Without a doubt. This is the one that's going to get more ratings than that All-Star game is going to get. This is the interesting one.
Good point.
Because, if you want to get featured and get transferred to a bigger club, this is where you have to show up. So, for all sides, they're in the same boat as we are. So, pressure's on for everyone in this case. They're all looking for a turnaround that's going to be costly. Jerry, we both have a very long experience of hating this team. Give us your 2 cents on what to expect. What are you thinking we're going to see on this in this match?
I think that the club understands that this is a very important match. So we have to see them step up. I think the one thing that we've been seeing is a lot of, playing down to the same speed as our opponent at the time. Whenever we lose matches, I don't think that we're quite doing what we're supposed to be able to do. I mean, I think all of you on here can agree with me that when we have lost, it's because we failed to do what we all know they can do on the pitch. So going up on this Saturday, it's going to be very important for us to match their strategy and match what level of play that they bring. Every single time that we have faced Carson, I think we can all agree also on this, and that is stepped up regardless of where they are on the table, where they are, expectancy wise. Like, we all expect LAFC to beat Galaxy every single time, but they've somehow been able to step it up. So coming into this match, it's going to be really important for us to keep up with them and to keep that level of intensity that we just haven't really had, right? It's going to be the first thing, is just being able to keep up, regardless of Chicharito not being there, Vela not being there. I don't care. We should be able to beat this Galaxy team.
And that's it. We should be able to beat them. You're right, man. Yeah, I know a little freeze up there, but the point was made, right? We should be in a position to hurt these guys. We shouldn't be where we're at right now. The talent we have, this is not where we need to be, which is where I want to bring in Ben on this conversation, because you've been writing about this, you've been covering this, you've been doing your homework, that's for certain. What are your impressions? Where do you think we're going with this one? What should we expect?
Well, first off, this is the first game ever where LAFC is actually below the Galaxy in the table, in the standing. So I feel like that should bring in some firepower to them. I think the players are aware of the situation. I think they should know that the fans are not happy. They're disappointed. Bob should know this. I think at this point, it's not about it's about getting the 3 points, of course, but it's also about the pride that they have for the badge, for the crest. They should play with their hearts. Of course, you want to play some good football, but at the end of the day, you have to do what it takes to get this win. And no matter how ugly it gets, no matter how you get it done, you have to come out with the 3 points. A tie is not good enough. You have to come out with the win. They're on a 4-game losing streak. All these things they've got to be in their head. During the game. They can't keep losing. Not at home, not to the Galaxy. So I feel like this is the game where hopefully they turn things around. So we'll see what happens.
The game you can't lose. Exactly. Yeah. And I hear the debates going back and forth, everybody talking smack back and forth. Well, we've got more wins. Yeah, by 1. Okay, cool. Oh, well, we won in the playoffs. Yeah, we did. But guess what? In a rivalry match, the only game that matters is the last one. Seriously. That's it. So they have the edge right now. They took the last one. We have to take it back. That simple. If you don't win on the day, you're losing the rivalry. That's how this works. History doesn't matter. It's what happens on the day. That is the winner. Okay? That's where it means everything on this side. So that brings us to the next stage. Bam. What does LAFC have to do to get it together and leave a mark in this game?
To me, the players on the field have to show what we'll be showing in the stands. Passion. Playing for the badge. In the stands, we'll be bringing it. I know we'll be bringing it. We need the players to bring it with us.
I could make a good prediction. This is probably going to be the loudest you're ever going to hear the 3252. I'm going to say that right now. Why? We've always been our loudest when we're challenged the most. When we're in pain, when we're suffering, that's when the 3252 gets that much stronger, that much louder. We take the negativity and shoot it back at you. Ask Seattle, who didn't even get a trophy ceremony. Ask anyone that comes in our house. You damage us, you never hear the end of it. So we're in a moment now where we know our backs are against the wall. We know the 3252 is going to step up. The question is the club going to match us? That is the story. Bam is right on point. Are they going to match us? Throw this to Tony, because you're going to be in the north end with me for this one. What's your anticipation? What does our club have to do to step up? What things do they need to look at to get better at?
Overall, just the one thing that is going to be like throughout Twitter, Reddit, any social media that you have, leadership. We need leadership. Yes, we have the talent, but leadership is for sure and stuff like that. Because again, we as fans, we're gonna bring it in the north end, no question about it. I don't care who you are. If you're not, get F out, because this is a one time where I don't want you in here. If you're just gonna be there just to take a selfie, shoot your video, do whatever you want to do for your social. But at the end of the day, it's leadership. We have to get our defense tight. We do have on paper, we should have the best defense, even with Segura gone. Like, our young person, Farfan, yes, he's still learning. Yet Edwards is still like iffy, but overall, our core, even with the new people we just brought in, we should have one of the best defense. The only misconnect is, of course, our forwards, and again, that's Rodriguez being his prima donna self, but again, he's turning it around. slowly but surely. Vela, again, is turning into B-Rod, which is surprising, but again, not surprising, because if anybody follows the Mexican national team, he'd rather be shooting hoops with LeBron, Westbrook, all of Lakers right now. And then we have Rossi, who, again, Bam will literally, if you talk to Bam, he'll keep saying every time he doesn't produce or do something, his value goes down. His negotiations for what he wants goes down. Him going to Europe goes down. So overall, from forwards to bottom, the forwards are so far is our problem, but below that we should be okay. And the last thing is just finish. That's it. Just if we finish, we win. That's all. It's simple. I know it's so easy to say, but that's what needs to happen.
And there it is. So talking about the technical side of things, Christine, what do you think we're going to field out there? Who do you think is going to be on the field for this one? And what do you think the approach is going to be?
I think it's going to be really similar to who we fielded last match. And I think, look, their defense is a mess. So I don't see why we wouldn't play a very front foot forward, aggressive, attacking style of play. And to be honest, if I look at their latest match and our latest match, we both lost, but the style of play and the quality of play there's a huge gap between there. And I think that even though we lost that first half, especially, we played phenomenally. And that kind of goes to your point about, the huge gap of XG and how many goals we actually scored. So at this point, it's a mental game. We know, and the stats tell us, that we have the same potential in terms of scoring goals. We have the same amount of combinations in the attacking third. We just need to be able to put the ball in the back of the net early on. That's going to be a huge boost of confidence to the players. And look, this is not like a new thing. Like, all teams go through this. So I think they just need to be able to break the ice and continue to do the things that they're good at, while being really honest about their limitations in terms of who we have available, and then adjust to that.
There it is. Excellent point. Again, the finishing, playing within yourselves. I think that's the strongest thing Christine is saying here, because that's the one thing we don't do when we play them. We try to do too much. We get too cute at times. Want the perfect play. Want to do ask Murillo right in the last match. Take it too casual. Think they're done with. We can easily touch the ball out, rather than being like, dude, take it simple. Knock the ball out of bounds. You watch Roldan against Liga MX, right? He's putting it out. He's putting it out for a corner because, you know what? Forget it. Why take a chance? We need to get that way too. Simplify your game. That's it. In your own zone, simplify it. Clear it. Who cares if it's ugly? Just get it out of there. Nothing cute. This is a rivalry match. It's not supposed to be pretty. We're not looking for a postage stamp game to sell for the world. No, we're looking for a result, and that's all that really matters. So, when I look at lineups, I can't help but think that, of course, we are going to go back to a 4-3-3. That's what we know best. That's what we're comfortable with. Yep. What we saw against Vancouver, I wouldn't be surprised. Many of it will be the same faces again, right? Backline. What are we going to see? That's the hardest question. Is it going to be Blackman? Is it going to be Fall? We know Murillo is going to be there. There's no question he's going to be there. On the left side, we know it's going to be Farfan, because that's who we have. That's the best for the job in the moment. Kim at right back. Guaranteed. So the question is, do you trust Fall, the kid, or do you trust Blackman to be there? And so I throw it to you guys. Who gets it, Fall or Blackman? Ben, you're the first on this one.
For me, I'm going to go with Blackman, simply because of the experience. He, like you said earlier, he bleeds for the team. He knows how to play these kind of games. Fall's been on a good form as of late, but, he's only 18 years old. He doesn't have any experience playing the derbies. So I would just opt for the experience in this one with Blackman. I don't know what you guys think.
I agree, for sure, because I think Blackman, he knows how much this game means to us, the supporters, and it means a lot to the players too. I mean, this is, I mean, going back to the very first game between these two teams, since the beginning of this rivalry, it's just been passion and and Blackman has been there since pretty much the whole time, and he knows what it's like. So I think I agree putting Blackman in there because I think he's going to step up for this game because he knows what it means to the players, the fans, the club, to everyone.
Christine, what is your take on the back line?
Man, that's a really tough call because it's true what you say about Blackman and his investment in this derby, but at the same time, we also know that this is going to be a really emotional game, and they're a team that's gonna hack us a lot. You know what I mean? They're gonna take cheap shots for sure. And sometimes I feel like Blackman may not be the best in those emotional high pressure situations. We see, he's gotten a red card or 2 yellows. He can do sort of spazzy things. He can have 75 good minutes, but then make a really critical error. So I don't know. My predictions are always wrong for starting lineup. So I feel like it's going to be like the opposite of what I say. But I think it might be Fall, and then Blackman comes in later.
There it is. Bam, your take?
I'm not going to hide it. I'm a massive fan of Mamadou Fall. I love Mamadou Fall. He has so much potential in him. But I see him sitting on the bench. I see a Blackman starting over him. I'd love for Fall to start, but I can see Blackman starting ahead of him.
Jerry, what do you think, my friend?
I'm going to have to agree with Bam 100%. I feel like, dude, it makes sense for me to have Blackman in there. So I'm gonna have to take him. Although I do also like our other options, I just don't see that over Blackman. I just don't.
So you think experience versus the catalyst. So go with the guys that been there before, that already have the salt in the wound, right?
I mean, at least to start, yeah. Yep.
Well, the other thing I'll say is, unlike previous years, Galaxy, they don't really have like a killer attacker or a killer goal scorer. So that's the only other reason why I'd be like maybe Fall. But yeah.
Okay, and then I hear others talking about Kim Moon-Hwan possibly not being healthy for this one. There's questions of that. Right? That's tough. There's conversations about Palacios potentially being available. Honestly, I think it's long shot with Palacios. Right back into this? Dude, that's a hard ask. And then Kim Moon-Hwan, I mean, I think at that point it becomes the default, right? Blackman shifts over there and Fall gets the start and nobody even questions it because they don't have a choice. We don't have that depth. So that's that on the back line. In goalkeeping, do you really think there's a debate, guys? Is this even one? Throw it out there. Anybody thinks it's a debate? Nope. I look up to Ben. Nope. Jason? Nope. All shaking heads. Yeah. Romero's getting the start. I say the same thing. Not even a conversation. Midfield situation is the other conversation. Is there even a debate on who's starting in this game? I think this one's also super, super easy to predict, right? You see who's going to be Sifu, Atuesta, Blessing. Do we see anything other than that?
No.
Nope.
No, right? We're getting super predictable with our lineups. And then the front line, okay? This is the first time we're going to see these three together, right? Orango, Rossi, B-Rod.
And B-Rod? What?
Do you think that's what it's gearing?
What do you mean, right? What, Jerry?
No, it's just, it's a good,
okay.
It's a good thing. Wait, hold on.
It's a good one. Okay, it's a good one.
No, that's a good one.
I thought it was a bad one.
No, it's a good one. I think it just, like Joseph said, we just haven't seen that, but I do strongly believe that that's going to be a strong 3 up front. I really do. So I guess we'll just have to see.
You know, I'm thinking the same thing in my mind, you know, after getting hurt against Vancouver, getting angered against Vancouver. Those guys are pissed. They have to be. And they don't like hearing us talk the way we do about that. You know, there's some in there that listen. But they had to be angry after that. And now they've got some training together knowing that that's going to be the line. There's no shock to it. The South American connection up top should be really, really fascinating to see. Everybody fast, everybody mobile when they want to be. When they need to be mobile. They can all shift into the different positions available. So they're all mobile. To me, it just seems like there's this giant question mark. Not that they can play this game, but how well they're going to play it, how crazy they're going to get, how physical they're going to get. But there's so much potential in this lineup. Bam, do you feel a little bit of excitement having those three together in a full match situation where they can prepare for it?
It's going to be interesting. Would this be, excuse me, the front three for next year? If stuff goes, is this what we're looking at for next year? Is it time that we go, let's start playing players that we're looking at for next year?
Well, I mean, I'll just throw it up there. I wouldn't be surprised if all three DPs are out the door. So I'm not looking to next year. I'm just looking to Saturday, and I don't care about anything beyond that because I do believe that if we don't get a result in this, we could see a new manager by the time it's all said and done. Someone could walk away at this point. The bloodletting could begin after this match. So I really don't want to look beyond this weekend because forget it. It's all about this weekend. Tony, are you having that impression as well? As forget it all. This is everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Like we've been saying for the last podcast, it's like Bob. Everyone has these games leading up to this one, and this is the final one. This is the final boss for everybody. It's like whatever happens here moves shapes the future of this season, the future of future seasons, everything going forward, because this is everyone's last hurrah, I guess the best way to say it, everyone, again, if you really want to look on Twitter, everyone's pissed off about it. Everybody wants Bob out. Everyone's wants doing literally everything they can. They're like, it's literally I feel like in this, luckily I have this here because I feel like the dog in the meme drinking his water, this is fine, because that's how it is outside right now, is literally everything burning around us. But pitchforks and torches, that's for sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this, honestly, we shouldn't worry about next game. We shouldn't worry about is Vela staying, is Bob staying, is Rossi, is anything. It's literally what happens in the morning, whatever you got to do, prep, do whatever. Also, whatever happens in those 90 minutes dictates the future.
There it is. Trajectory is all about it. You're deep out of the playoffs if you lose this game. It's the worst swing possible, right, Ben? How far out of the playoffs do you think we're going to be? And are we toast? Is this it if we don't win this one?
I mean, yeah, I think if we lose this, the confidence levels just drop to the ground. I don't see how they're going to pick themselves up from this, especially with Bob. I think, if they can't pull off a win here, I think Bob is done. I don't even think he should, wait to get fired. I think he should resign, right after the game. He has to just call it quits and have somebody else, step in for him.
Yeah.
Sad situation we're in, but it's a real situation. You don't cede to these people. No, thank you. Not at the bank. Not in Los Angeles. You don't cede to them ever. And it's been too much already, so it can't be anymore. So on that note, I am going to throw this out to everyone else, and we can definitely hammer off some of this stuff that we're seeing from the crew. So I'm going to jump back in, and it's definitely going to be a conversation. Like I said, the moon availability did come up. So did Palacios, and I think we did that. Marvin says he puts Blackman over Fall, so a little bit of agreement with panel there. Yep. Marvin does think that Palacios might be available. We'll see. I mean, he looked bad against Atlanta, so I'd be really shocked to see him there. And as Al mentions, high ankle spraining, turf madness is what that was, so we just don't know yet. Moving on. Yeah, Marvin, they did say it wasn't serious and he was questionable last week, but you don't know at this stage. It's really hard to say. And then we had this one here in case things are healthy for them. Could we see Blackman, Murillo fall, Palacios as an option? Not saying that we couldn't if Palacios is available. I know Bob prefers Palacios over the others, as he should. We're paying him more. Yeah, and he does offer more offensively than the other two do. So, yeah, if he's ready to go, that could definitely happen. But, signs haven't really shown it, Farfan, Murillo, right center back, Blackman. We'll see. We'll see there. Marvin says he's not crazy about Moon in defense. I like him at right wing back, but scary as a right back. Anybody on here want to tackle that one or think that he's in a good place with that conversation?
I guess I will.
Threw it up to the panel.
Partially agree with that. I don't think he. I think in some of the goals that we've conceded, they've been, aerial balls, and it's partly a function of communication between the center backs and the outside back, where a offensive player will slip in between like Murillo and Kim. And also, some of our players, including Kim, they're really small guys. They're like smaller than me, and I'm freaking 5'2", you know what I mean? And I think in terms of defensive line, we need to be much stronger on the ball. I think Kim, technically, probably top 2 on our team. And so I get your point that he's better as a wing back versus a straight, 4-3-3 outside right back. That said, I think he's doing his role as a right back, but he's also, I'm almost positive, being told that he needs to make those forward runs. And so there needs to be a shift with the whole team in terms of midfielders, defensive midfielders covering, in terms of center backs covering, that is not happening when he makes those offensive runs. So yes and no, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, the guy that has to track back if he's going forward is Blessing in many cases. And we all know Blessing's not a big fan of that. So it does make it a little complicated. That's for sure. Tough times. Tony, jump on, sir.
I was going to just say, well, like, not even like about like Kim or anything. It just popped into my head when people were like going through like the line. What about our new defender? I just slipped my mind about that.
True. Would you debut a new defender?
He's already had time in it. Like he's known the system. He played last game, so but the thing is, again, as everyone knows, he's not a quote unquote. He's not the lead. He's not the voice in the background. He's more of the follower. He'll follow what needs to be done. You know what I mean? He's kind of told what he needs to do, told what she should do, and that's the thing. So again, he has MLS experience, which again, that's what everybody wants, is a player with MLS experience. So this could be opportunity for him. But who is that leader? That shakes up who's the leader in the back.
Right, which would be technically Murillo or Blackman. So becomes the next one. I'm going to run up to Hooligan Ox on this one because he goes, it's going to be a 5-3-2. Now, Hooligan Ox, he might be onto something. If this guy that we just brought in from New York, right, new player, happens to get in there and start, it would have to be that, right?
Yeah.
We'd be forced into that. So it could be the case, Ox. It's just, do you really want to run a 5-3-2 against a 5-man mid? It's really going to be tough. I mean, I guess we could do that against KC, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Really interesting to see how this plays itself out. Good point on that, Ox. Marvin, you're going to be... they're calling tailgates. We'll get to that stuff later. Araceli says, I agree with Marvin. Brian and Arango have something to prove. So all eyes will be on the front three, right? They got to make their money. Araceli's on point with that for certain. Moving forward, we've got... Oh, yes. Thank you, Victor, for bringing this up. Coming in strong from Omaha here. Victor says, isn't there a Sirius XM press call with Bob tomorrow? Indeed, there is at 9:30 a.m. I don't know if they said Eastern or Pacific. Sorry, guys. He will do an interview with Jason Davis on Sirius XM tomorrow. Good call, man. I did see that on Twitter pop up, so I think we retweeted it. But
like
I'll definitely right for you.
2:30 in the morning.
Well, if you have Sirius, you can listen to it on demand. So online, you can listen to it on demand. So if you miss it, you can check back and see what's going on I guess like American Soccer Morning, I guess they call it. But I'll definitely be checking that out. That's for sure. Marvin, I don't think LFC will fire Bob if he loses versus the Galaxy. I don't know about a firing, but it could be a resignation, right? Something could happen. It's chaos, man. That's for sure. I was going to check out Cooligans on Fubo. They had a fun little interview with Bob tonight. They did. Check that out. We love the Cooligans. Al Hopkins calling Bryce Duke as the super sub, assists in the game winner. Duke needs more love. I agree.
I love that take. I'm down for that. I'm down for Bryce Duke. And I'm also down for Christian. Where did he go?
Right. Christian's disappeared. Cal Jennings getting no love. Right.
I can see Cal Jennings getting the goal to win the game.
Does Cal Jennings kind of give you a Wando vibe, guys? He does to me. Just scrappy.
He gives me like a young Tarzan vibe.
The hair definitely does it. He could compete with Cowell for wildest hair in MLS if that's the case, for sure. Al Hopkins calling hot take alert. There goes Marvin. I really, really wanted to see Ibiaga play more before Carson. He should have played versus Vancouver. I think it's big and fast. I want to see how he pairs with Murillo. I do, but it's just so hard thinking it could be Carson would be that big moment. That's a hard ask, but you never know. Teams do things like this to throw the other side off, so that could be some rivalry madness going on. Again, Marvin says he wouldn't be surprised to see 5-3-2 versus Carson, apparently because Brian doesn't want goals at the bank, maybe even expense of a tie. I just think our wings could really hurt them, and that dynamic would be taken away. And we just love pressing teams to death. Like that's what Bob's preference is, and the 4-3-3 is really where we want to. Of course, the wingbacks are there, but it would only be coming from one side if that's the case, if Palacios isn't all there. Roberto Espinosa is saying, hey, guys, hey. Al Hopkins, Rossi Rodriguez, Chicho Sifu, Atuesta, Latif. Yeah, we definitely calling that one as well. Moving on. Bob doesn't want goals. We want goals. We all want goals. Al Hopkins, Farfine, Blackman, Murillo, Fall, Romero. Yeah, I mean, I think there's almost consensus as to who we see as starters. That's for certain. Thank you, everyone, for their contributions and hot takes for the day. We all know the weight and gravity of this match, so definitely it's there. Jerry's back on. He's back alive, people. There he is. Welcome
I'm alive.
Jerry. Just in time as we close out another amazing episode, the first ever super pod for the Heart of LAFC. Thanks to the Godfather down there for getting all this madness started. So what we're going to do is it is that time, everyone. Yes. The time where we prepare to close out another amazing episode and get sad because none of us ever really want to go off there. We'll talk all night about football because we just love doing this. But
except for me, it's I'm sorry, but it's 1:30 over here in Minnesota. I'm
ruining Jerry's conference tomorrow. That's what we're doing. He's gonna have a sleepy little conference. I'm sorry, my brother, but you know how that works.
No, I'm happy to be
here. We're again, it's an honor, my brother, for getting me into this mess to begin with, and giving us this moment for all of us to get this chance. Because if you didn't do this, Pod Fam wouldn't be the Pod Fam that it is today, and how wild it is with defenders and everybody else. I mean, the culture, you established it. We just ran with it, and we are here today because of that. So on that note, we're definitely going to do our walkouts for this one. And so it's hard picking, but we're going to do this, and I'm just going to go clockwise on this one. So I'm going to start with Ben, my brother. Give us your final thoughts of the episode and the match ahead.
Thank you, everyone, for being on the show. Thank you to Christine, to Jason, to Bam, Tony, Jerry, and you, Joseph. Thank you guys for, talking LAFC with us. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, just hoping to get a win this Saturday. We really need this win badly for the fans, for the club, for the players. Everybody needs this win. I feel like it's going to, I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be like either a really, really good day or a really bad day. Hopefully it's a good day. But yeah, let's keep positive vibes and get this win.
There it is. Mr. Punk, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking what he was saying. I feel like I'm on the Brady Bunch right now. We just need a couple more
You
of us
are,
up
actually.
there. Yeah, but yeah, I just want to thank all you listeners, especially regulars. You guys have amazing comments. All of you, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. Everyone on the team, you guys are awesome. A lot of us haven't met in person. A few of us have, probably because of COVID last year, but hey, you guys are all great, dear friends to me, and thank you for Joseph for continuing this, and Jerry, you are the podfather, man. You started it all, and I want to thank all the other podcasts too. You guys, we really are a pod fam, shoulder to shoulder. The guys from Defenders, FC, you guys, all you guys are. We are like a family, man, and we have like a little group chat with each other, and just to kind of let you listeners know that there's no competition with the podcast. We support each other. I listen to all the other podcasts, so thank you, everyone.
Thank you, brother. Love it. Mr. Bam, it's your turn.
Once again, thank you for having me on the show, stepping in and all that. As Jerry mentioned earlier, everyone that leaves the club ends up going on to bigger and better things. That includes you too, Jerry. You left us, you've gone to bigger and better things, and we thank you for leaving this legacy with us. For this weekend, it's a 9 a.m. kickoff my time, so please don't ruin my Sunday. But let's get out there and let's get the win.
There it is. I love it. Tony, you have the floor, my friend.
I guess pretty much 200. It's kind of crazy. I went from not trying to get into just everything that was at LAFC to listening to every single podcast from Heart, Somos, Defenders, of course, all of them, and then just Jerry just coming in and also coming on, just having conversations here and just knowing there's a space for everyone doing, and then being asked to be on part of this is kind of like, you know what I mean? I guess this is the best. This is probably what the academy players would feel like when they go to the big leagues. You know what I mean? To the team they're dealing with. It. That's how I feel like. That's the best way to say it.
Love it.
But let's like I said, let's get that win. We're all gonna be at. Most of us are gonna be there at the tailgates. Some of us earlier than others. It's again for those who've never been there. It's Christmas Tree Lane. We're always there. Literally, you can just find us and stuff like that. It's been a blast with everyone. Ben, Jason, Bam, Chrissy, Jerry, and of course you, Joseph. Thank you for having me and giving us a voice. And again, I like that this podcast is the voice of reason, the voice of commonness, because we're one of the last to go on before the game usually goes on for the next game, and we're that nightcap, that nice coffee, that nice little stogie, whatever you do to just relax and get ourselves prepped for this game. So on that note, thank you again. Thank you, Jerry, for everything and leaving the legacy that you have.
Thank you, brother. Which brings us to the one and only Christine Kwan.
Yeah, I just want to take issue with something that Jason said. He said we're not competitive with any of the podcasts, but FCFC is supposed to host a pickup soccer game at their barbecue, and I want to take them down. I want Slim to go down. I want Josh going down. And most of all, I want Weezy going down. And I'm going to spill all his green tea all over him afterwards. But yeah, the thing that you said earlier today about us having the greatest XG gap and kind of like surprised me, and it's interesting to me. And I know stats is kind of new to MLS. We don't use stats as much as other sports. But the thing about XG is it's like it's your likelihood of scoring based on all these factors. And I feel like it's a good and bad thing that we have XG and don't score, right? It means like we're showing huge potential and we're creating huge possibilities. And on the flip side of that is we're not finishing. And like I feel like all of us have an XG in life, you know what I mean? Like my XG gap is very wide. Like I'm supposed to be doing something, but I'm like way down here. But you know, at the end of the day, like we can't always be results oriented as a team. What we need to do is see what our goal is and continue to have faith in the process. So we need to continue to work hard. And we need to continue to support our team. I don't think that some of our fans realize that clubs go through losing seasons. Like, it's going to happen. And, like, I think it's fair to be critical of the way, you know, certain decisions that we make on a tactical level, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, I would never personally attack our players on their social media. I would never there's certain lines that I would never cross. And I just hope that we as a team and as supporters and, you know, as a club, it's a rare privilege for us to be able to like create the tone and culture of a brand new club. And I think that all of you guys have been doing that in terms of setting the tone and setting, like, you know, basically the mission and the values of what we're about. And so even though it does suck that we are where we are, I think that there is a path for us moving forward, and there are steps for us moving forward. The same way that I believe in myself, my own XG, and like actual results meeting together. So, yeah, let's do that, and let's freaking like kick some butt on this weekend.
Absolute words of wisdom once again, Christine. Thank you so much. You, dude, put it in perspective. Well done. Well done. All love. Which brings us to Jerry. My brother, you have the floor, my man. The Podfather speaks.
All right, listen, episode 200, I honestly am completely honored and floored that we're at this point and that I'm here with the six of you. When I started this, it was never about myself. It was always about the community, about building this thing up. Joseph got that, and he came on board, and I convinced him in Philadelphia at our first ever super draft. It was like a dream come true to have Joseph come on. And then when I had to do the right thing and step away, you guys all stepped in and filled in gaps that I didn't even know that we had. And you've made this such an amazing thing and such a cool thing, because at the end of the day, this is continuing to be not about any of the seven of us that are on the screen right now. This is about the community, and you guys all understand that, all of you, and those that are missing as well. And shout out to Fresco, who's not here as well. Like, all of you guys get that. It's never going to be about us. It's about the community. It's about the culture. And I just feel so honored that you guys have been able to keep this going for as long as you have, and you will continue to keep this going, I hope, for many, many years to come, because it's a very much needed voice in the Black and Gold community. When we started this, it was all about bringing the voice of the supporters group, the supporters culture, to the community, and it's still doing the exact same thing. I mean, I may be wrong, but I feel like we're the only ones still not making any profit out of the culture. And then that's a big fucking thing. I just want to throw that out there. Like, I love all of you and everybody else that does podcasts. And I will forever, if you ever need any sort of advice, you know, that's what we are here to do. We're here to grow the culture. But it's so much more than just any individual. It's about everybody. And regardless of where we are, I think every club has those ebbs and flows. Just like Christine said, I think we're going to go through those bad times. We're going to go through those good times. Remember those good times because we're here for each other. And the whole point of this is to be able to have that shoulder to lean on. And I hope that Heart of LAFC is that shoulder for many years to come for a lot of people that don't feel like maybe the club is where we need to be. However, you still can go in and listen to us and all of you be silly and say, hey, we fucking suck. But be able to laugh about it. And at the end of the day, say, hey, you know what? This is bigger than a loss. Like we love hanging out with each other. And in Christmas Tree Lane, just like Tony brought up, we are there to just hug each other and be like, yo, we lost. But hey, want to have a beer? You want to have a hot dog? That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about. I love you guys. Thank you for letting me join in for episode 200. And that leaves the one and only Mr. Joseph Sacker. Sure. Take it away.
Thank you, my brother. First thing is just what he said right there. The sun rises the next day. The wings are still gold, no matter what happens, right? The wings are still gold. The sun rises. We go drink another beer. We go to another tailgate. We keep working. We keep singing. We get the job done. That's what we do as supporters and fans of this club. We don't walk away. We don't shrink or go hide behind a club that we support that's 1,000 miles away because it's an out. No, we support. This is our club. So where Jerry comes in and brings me into this amazing, amazing journey, I'm beyond thankful because what he did provide for me at that time, I was president of 3252, a chance to talk football when I no longer could because I was too busy chasing down other things to get that moving the right way. And it gave me a chance to get back to feeling normal and doing what I love, which is football. Right. Football first should always be the way we think in this world. So for Jerry, thank you, brother, for getting me back to football and what I love the most, and getting me an outlet in times when I really needed one. And thank you to those of you listening today, because you are the inspiration to keep this thing going. If you don't come on each week doing these comments and telling us how we're doing and talking to us in the stadium, all of us in the stadium, this doesn't survive. Because as Jerry and I will both tell you, this costs money, this costs time, this costs a little bit of heartache and time away from our families. And that is a cost for sure. But the benefit is all of you, is the community and building the community and providing a place where we can have that measured response, like Tony says. We can remind everybody that the sun also rises. So that is critical. The thank yous. I didn't want to give a shout out before I thank everybody to Mario Monroy, who actually took me aside at the All-Star game, telling me how the show provides a great bit of entertainment and something for him while he's driving his truck on his rig, staying safe, but listening to us, keeping his head with it. So Mario, I just wanted to give you this shout out, man. Thank you for the support. You reminded me once again, even at the All-Star game, of why we do what we do. Ben, thank you, brother, for sticking it out, even in times of COVID where it was horrible. We had to go through this crazy testing just to get a report out there, but you were at the games and nobody else was. Jason, thank you for always being there for me, providing me an outlet and a smile when we need one. That's for certain. Bam, thank you for coming on in the middle of the day whenever we needed you and always being there, even since before LAFC was even a thought. Being Black Army through and through and being a true brother in the game. Tony, thank you, sir, for reminding me of why we do what we do, keeping me honest, keeping the passion going in the North End, showing what a future capo and current capo, what they got to do. He's nervous on it, but he's there and he's owning it. So, brother, I thank you. Christine, thank you for demanding better of me on this podcast, and getting things better. And pushing us back to being on air like we are now, live. I don't think it happens without you and several others in this room right now and listening to get us where we are, because the promise is there. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Fresco, for getting on when you can. I know it's tough. Thank you, Andrew, for writing articles in the early days and hanging out over it. Iron Triangle to strategize and get things going. I don't forget these things. To get us moving and keep us moving. It's critical. I can think of Marcus. I can think of Pat. I can think of Larry and Larry, right, showing their support for what we do. And, of course, the other godfather in all of this, of course, Rich, who always gave us a push, you could say, more than a push to keep this going, knowing that whatever we say, both positive and negative, is still a conversation about LAFC. And it's something to promote this club and to keep us as a challenger, which is what the club has always sworn to be. So, Rich, thank you for the constant encouragement, because it's something that really does mean something. Of course, to the 3252, I thank all of you as well, because, again, you're the reason why I'm even here. You're the reason why we have the passion we do and keep changing the game and have something to talk about each week, because there's times where this club, there ain't much to talk about, but there's definitely always the 3252. So love to all of you guys as well. And on that note, let's bring it into the next round, which is, of course, is the match ahead. Keep your heads, guys. We will be challenged. We have a lot of people from Carson that will definitely be invading our stadium in this day, and they will challenge you to make the wrong decisions because they know you're in a stressful situation. Don't cede. Don't give it to them. Show them what Los Angeles is all about, because you know they aren't. And they know they aren't, and that's why they act the way they do. They lost this town. Since 96, since never. There is no Galaxy Day in LA. There's an LAFC Day. This ain't their town. It never will be, no matter what the result is, because they've never, ever really had it. So on that note, give everything you can. Win, lose, draw, show up, sing, don't give up. And of course, at the end of the day, y'all know what we're going to say right now. On three, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Stay golden.
Thank you for listening to the Heart of LAFC. Make sure to leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher. Shoulder to shoulder, the black and gold is taking over.